The thing with Josh is it's so weird. He's so fucking terrified of his own forum where he doesn't have a thread, by the way. Josh doesn't have a thread. And there's some reasons Josh doesn't have a thread, because Josh has done a lot of stuff, which I don't actually hold him like guilty for or anything, but Josh has done a lot of stuff which the analog of those things are his literal justifications for shooting people in the head, calling them pedophile. Like Josh has talked about like years ago. You can find him on other places, masturbating to certain types of like Shota porn and stuff like that, weird stuff. But those things are things that he has used to justify his hatred of various people and justified my unjust defense of people, even though I didn't defend any of this shit, but whatever, as horrible. But Josh, doesn't let a thread go up on his forum about him because those things might pop out. He's terrified of his own forum. And so John, he said this openly, by the way. This is not like me conjuring up something. It's very clear. Josh said that if you associate with him, well, he's forced to, his arm is twisted into covering any drama that happens with you, any drama that happens with you, whether it's true, false, manufactured, whatever. And so when something gets said by Josh that is not true, and you reach out and you say, hey, you know what, man, like, I don't really care that you said this, but I just want you to know, like, the truth behind it, there isn't any or whatever. He's like, listen, I have to cover you or else people will accuse me of guarding for you. Like, well, I mean, I guess that would be bad, but I don't really care if you say anything. I just know you. So I want to tell you what's actually real versus what's not real. Like, cause I would want you to do the same for me. If I said something that was wrong about you, I'd want you to say, hey, you know what? Like, that's not true. I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. But when you do that and you just say, hey, like, that's not real. Like, I don't want you to make a statement. I don't want you to redact anything or whatever. I just want you to know the truth. Cause like people I know, I want to just make sure they know about me. He's like, why are you asking me to change shit? I'm not asking you to change anything. I'm just telling you what's not true versus what you said. So Josh turned out to be the most manipulable person on earth. And when people started joining the forum that didn't like his friends, they just manipulated him into not liking them as hard as possible. So now that has happened so hard with me that though I never said a bad thing about Josh for a long time, even after he was saying all sorts of crazy shit about me that wasn't true, and I'd send him a polite message to be like, hey man, just want you to know it's not true, or whatever. But I never like retaliated or anything like that for a fucking long time, by the way. A year, maybe longer. All of a sudden it was too much that I said, hey, you know what? Like, I think I figured out why you don't get this right. Like, you're missing social cues because you're so used to people sending in complaints as like a sysadmin that you're not realizing like how humans talk. He's like, no, I'm actually a very good judge of humans. And he fucking like heel turned real hard. So now he does a segment on me like every show. Cheers, Josh, I guess. But you let people manipulate you out of friends and they're not your friends. You do the same thing with Dick. You'll do the same thing with anybody. I mean, until you're just this weird alone guy in whatever weird country you're in, talking on the internet, totally not being mad at the internet all the time, complaining about everything and woe is you and your plight. But the craziest thing is, the thing that made Josh the most mad is that while Josh would do these segments on his show, saying untrue shit about me or crazy shit and spreading drama, that I was like, like it'd be cool if that wasn't happening, but whatever. I wasn't covering a case involving Kiwi Farms enough. It wasn't this one. It was some other case. And he said it. He like was whining on stream about how like I didn't cover it. I didn't even know it was happening. And you know why I didn't know it was happening is because everything I heard from Josh was all about me. And when I would reach out to him, he wouldn't talk to me about the thing that was happening. He'd just get mad that I talked to him. And I'm like, people are like, well, will you bring Josh on the show? It's kind of like, well, I kind of want to, but every time I'm coming up, it's like this weird drama shit. And I really don't want to invite a bunch of drama onto my show about me that isn't true. You don't want a bunch of his retards following me and super chatting my show and like having me address something that isn't even a thing that's real. So I'll wait till that dies down. And then it never did, because he never stopped talking. I didn't tell him this, by the way. I didn't like say, I need you to stop. I just said, maybe we could do a show in the future, which is true. But it was constant. And then he's like mad that I didn't, like, after shit talking me forever, that I didn't invite him onto my show to invite that shit into my house. Sorry, Josh. I don't know. You don't hate you. I never did. It's kind of funny though. Keep doing your segments, I guess. You're definitely not being manipulated by people into hating people that you know have supported and liked you the whole fucking time. Like, it's definitely not happening. But you do you, because you really wouldn't want it to look like you're guarding someone. I mean, that would be the worst thing in the world. So fucking weird. But yeah, so I stopped following the Kiwi Farms shit, and I stopped following the drama and the lawsuits they were in, because they stopped being interesting to me, and I didn't really want to fucking sit there and have to read about all the stuff I haven't done that sounds really fun, but I haven't done it. And it's like, well, if you say, if you go and you respond to something and you say, well, I didn't actually do that, they're like, look at how mad he is. Like, no, like, that sounds hilarious. That sounds like a wild thing, but it isn't real. And they're like, oh, he's so fucking mad. Okay. If you don't respond to it, they're like, he's not responding to it. So fucking mad. It's like, okay, cool. You guys have created a situation where you completely circle jerk each other into oblivion, which was also part of what I said to Josh. I'm like, your community, which is fine, like, they're like this, but you should try and avoid that, because that is corrupting your ability to see things in the way you used to see them, like, objectively. He's like, no, actually, I know what I'm talking about. It's like, okay, I guess. There you go. But then he was mad. He's mad at people for not talking about his plights and stuff. And it's like, dude, you shit on people all day. Like, the people who support you, you shit on them. It's like, but my community loves me. Oh, Josh, they don't. You're the biggest bovine of them all for them. You're the funniest show that they see. And one day you'll notice that they're so happy they can convince you to do whatever they want, because you're so scared of showing up on your own side, or heaven forbid, somewhere else. Good luck, brother. I'm gonna laugh at the webs. I still hope you win, because I think the lawsuit that Russell brought is really fucking bad for everybody who runs any forum at all. I think it's a terrible idea. I still hope you win, but it sucks that you have to go through it, kinda. Oh.